Welcome to the Hollis Chapman Show, where we celebrate the power of words and the beauty of storytelling. Join us on this journey as we delve into the minds of successful authors and small business owners who have mastered the art of crafting captivating narratives that inspire, educate, and entertain. Prepare to be inspired as we explore the boundless possibilities that come from sharing stories and experiences that shape our lives and ignite our passions. Through heartfelt conversations and insightful discussions, we uncover the wisdom and creativity that fuel these incredible individuals in their pursuit of greatness. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let the magic of storytelling transport you to new worlds and perspectives. Get ready to be inspired, informed, and uplifted as we embark on this storytelling journey together. Stay tuned for an episode filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the power of words. Welcome to the Hollis Chapman Show. Say where stories come alive. Let's begin this adventure together. Don't miss out on the opportunity to connect with some of the most talented and compelling voices in literature today. Tune in and let the journey begin.
Hey, welcome to the Hollis Chapman Show. I am Hollis. Happy warm day here in Tempe, Arizona. Our special guest is a multi-genre storyteller, creative director, entertainment executive, and CEO of Angel Gate Entertainment. Wonderful, very talented. She's here to talk about her new book. I want her to tell you about her title, where that title came from. I think it's real cute. So let's talk about that. So without further ado, let's welcome to our show our special guest, Debbie Bishop. Welcome, Debbie.
Hi, how are ya?
Well, how are you, ma'am?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, you talk about your new book. Tell us before. Normally, I don't talk about the book cover until maybe middle of the show, but because the title is so cute, I want you to talk about. I want you to talk. Yeah, there you go. I want you to talk about it, how it came about. Go ahead.
Well, it's called Pillywiggin Awakening, and Pillywiggin is actually a fairy creature that lives in the woods and is kind of the wild fairy creature that they're not that common. And I like the name of it, so I called the creature Pillywiggin. And awakening is something. It seems like for the last 50 years as I've been writing and creating everything I do is about awakening our inner selves and becoming the best people that we are. And it seems like in my business and in my everything I've created in all my books, because I write science fiction as well, everything is about awakening and the journey that we're on. And I just realized that, that
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it comes from your heart. And that's why it's so interesting, I think, to me, is because we are all on this journey and there are different facets of people in different circumstances, all striving to be our best selves and growing. And, the goal is not the end of the thing. The goal is the journey and the things that we learn as we go. So
Wonderful.
awakening in this, you've got all these stray kids that are different circumstances, and they all rise up to be their best selves, and they become their own heroes and save themselves and save the circumstances.
Outstanding. Thank you for sharing that. Now, you said you've been in business or started in business like 50 years. By looking at you, I can't believe you've been doing it that long. But
Thank you.
what was a wow moment you started to say, I'm going to start doing this. I want to go into this direction. Was there a moment as you think back and say, I can do this. I feel comfortable doing this. And here we go. What was the moment? Bring us back to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, my family are entrepreneurs, and
Hmm.
I grew up working in my family business, even just like painting sticks for Christmas trees, measuring sticks when I was 8. I just, I've always like done things. And my mom wrote, she wrote screenplays and books and
Wow.
poems and things like that. And so my whole family was creative. So I just started writing when I was, young, and mostly in journals. I think journaling is really important. You can write down a problem that you have, and by the time you're done writing it, you resolved it pretty much, or at least looking back, that you feel that energy come out of you, and you feel better. So I've been doing that, but I always had stories, and I think when I was in my 20s, I I I love research. I'm a real nerd, so
Yeah.
I
Okay.
had an idea about aliens among us because, I was raised in metaphysics and spirituality, and that kind of thing. So I had an idea like, they're probably here already. So what I had this idea for something, and I started researching, and it took like years later. I had this fantasy sci-fi world that was based in reality with the teaching of Edgar Cayce and Socrates and real physics and real astronomy and everything. And that's when I wrote Black Tide about Atlantis and all that. And it just kept growing. And when Pillywiggin came out, and it was like 20 years ago, and it started out, my my family is also my grandfather was head of president of the Horticulture Association when I was little, and so I love, you know, I'm like a nerd. I take my son on a walk and I point out all the plants. Like, TMI, mom. I don't care what a ecapantha is. So anyway, so I started writing this fairies book because or this fairies computer game actually, because I wanted to talk and teach about horticulture for kids. Like, so I had this computer game with fairies where they would, you click on something, because in those days it was really fun to click on things with the mouse and see what they did. And like in Minecraft, when you click on something and you get the whole thing about it, that's what it was. It was before Minecraft, but that was what it was for horticulture. And all of a sudden I thought, well, okay, I'll put a story with this. And so then the story developed, and it turned into the first children's book that I wrote, called Fairies of Bladderwhack Pond, which was the first of the Pillywiggin series. And it was written for children. And Andy Park, who's now the visual director at Marvel, he illustrated all the illustrations and did the character design. And I published that. And then things happened, and I decided to rewrite the book and age it up and make it a novel, add boys to it, make more danger and things like that. And I love this new story. I love how it's so much more, it's dynamic and it's interesting, and all the characters have heart, and I developed all the different male characters in it because we need good examples for
Yeah.
everybody. And also, I'm lucky. I was born and raised in Inglewood, California, which is a very diverse area. And like, it's diverse, but then nobody knows it's diverse. So we're all the same. So so that's how it is in this. Is there are diverse characters. They look different. They're creatures. They're humans. There's fairies. They're all dragons and all that. They're diverse, but nobody notices. And that's how I
Yeah.
grew up. It's like my friends now, 50 years later at a high school reunion, they all like, nobody notices anybody's different, except for maybe the food, because everybody has their
Outstanding.
best food, right? So that's another thing I wanted to show in this. And black and white. I wanted to break down the stigma of black and white, good and evil, because it's really the actions, not the color, that makes things. So we have the main character, their mother was the queen of the light fairies, and their father was the head of all dark creatures on Earth. And so they are both light and dark, black and white,
Yeah. Yeah.
together, and they have the power to unite, which to the hierarchy is very, they don't like that, because
Yeah.
the hierarchy has made, just like us, this is another thing that relates to our world. The hierarchy has created a world and stereotypes and everything, so that to keep us in little boxes, and then they create conflicts to make us fight each other. And so that's what they do in this book. And so these guys they have the power to unite, and that's makes people afraid and want to control them or destroy them.
Outstanding. Thank you for sharing that. Just from what you said, I kind of went to a lot of directions, but I want to get to some of your stuff from your book, because that's the whole thing. So, your
Okay.
book, you elaborate on what truly means to become your own hero in the face of life challenges. So, from your book, share with us what it means to become a life hero, and your thoughts from your book.
Well, we've got several characters that are in situations. We have
Yeah.
the Lost Shadow Boys that were taken as children during this epic battle between good and evil, when the witch and her dragon army won, and they took all the boys to this mantle realm to be imprisoned because she thought that somebody among them was the heir to the throne of fairydom, and she wanted that title, so she thought she could make a deal with them, but nobody ever told them who it was. So 20 years later, they still are down there. They can't escape. They are fairies, but they can't use their wings because it's too hot. So they have to use ingenuity and make their own tools. And there's one boy that was not caught, indigenous boy, probably Cherokee or something. He wasn't caught, and he sneaks in supplies for them. He has for the whole time that they've been there. And so because of that, they have some power. They've got computers, they have books. and training, and they train themselves to become warriors. The fact that they are down there together as brothers without fighting, have become their best selves. They grow into their best selves because they have the nurturing that you need and the education that you need in order to do that. And they bonded like brothers, and so that's one way that they become their best selves. And eventually, they are their own heroes. Then there's the girl Chloe, who is prophesized to be the person that's supposed to free them. A girl.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even know they exist. And so, she has to, the story, I don't want to give away too much, but really what she does is she follows her heart. She follows her intuition, and she's drawn into the situation, even though she doesn't know anything about it. And she has the courage to move forward, even when she's afraid. And that's something that I think a lot of people have, like the mother that works 3 jobs, or the actor that goes on stage and you're afraid to go on stage, but you do it. The
Yeah.
things, you have the courage, you're afraid, but you do it anyway. And that's her thing. And then Peter he was the son of the queen of the light fairies. And during this epic battle, she sent him away for his safety, because she knew that there was going to be a problem, and she knew that he would be in danger if anybody found him. So she sent him to Europe, to the human realm, to live and grow up when he was 2, since he was 2. So, and she never contacted him for his safety, and she warned the chancellor there to tell him never to reveal what he was. And so he grew up in the human realm, and so 18 years later, he's betrayed, and somebody's kind of found out. So what he does is because this school is even though it's a human realm, there's mystical creatures that are hiding there. So there's some magic books and things like that. And one of his science teachers found an ancient wand, and and this ancient wand it burns anybody that touches it. It's a dark wand from a dark witch. And so everybody has to be very careful with it. But Peter doesn't know that. It falls, he picks it up, and he can hold it. And it burnt the person that was holding it before, and he can hold it with no problem. And so he wonders about that. But anyway, after he's betrayed, he decides that he's also warned that he needs to leave because he's in danger. So what he does is he goes to the library section where you're not supposed to go, the forbidden book section, and he finds a book, a spell on how to make a clone, and he uses the ancient wand to make a clone, and he leaves the clone in his place, sends the clone home, and he goes out on his own with only his backpack. Now, this kid has been raised in luxury his whole life, and he's got a backpack, and he can't use any of his money or credit cards or anything like that because he has to make he's smart, so he made a
Yeah.
new identity. So he's out on his own, and he's winging it, and he's figuring out what he's supposed to do. He wanted to go find out who is hunting him and why. And he had a dream of this constellation, and so he goes to that constellation in order to on Earth to find out what's going on, and he ends up in Australia.
Our special guest today is Debbie Bishop, award-winning storyteller, author. Debbie, just listen to you speak. Your mind's going. You're creating, constantly creating. How do you settle where you can get this stuff down on paper and start doing that stuff? Because you run your businesses, you do certain things, you do stuff in Hollywood, you do film stuff like that. How do you get up in the morning and put some stuff down? Do you do it in the afternoon? So how do you get it together where you can put all that stuff together to write a great book, to run your business? How does Debbie do that? Because that's a lot of our challenges, putting things together so we can do things that we want to do, maybe we're trying to do. How does Debbie do it?
Well, I do it very simply. It's intuition. So
Oh,
when I wake up in the morning, I feel like what am I going to do? And there's something that I'm supposed to do. So I go by intuition, and you focus on what you're doing one at a time. But you are guided by intuition. I've always been like that. And if I ever wonder about what I'm supposed to be doing, sometimes I'll go to sleep the night before and say, when I wake up in the morning, I'll know what I'm supposed to do. I'll have a productive day. And when I wake up in the morning, I do that. You intuitively know what you're supposed to do. You sit down, you do it. And for me, I do the work until it's done. I mean, that's kind of bad because I'll do the work without going to the gym, without eating, without
uh-huh.
anything. I'll just do the work until it's done. And that's how I've been able to build on my businesses, because I'm working 16, 20 hours a day sometimes, because I just am driven to do that. I don't know, it's like it comes through. And the ideas from my books, they start writing themselves in my mind, and I have to write them down on paper or a computer in order to get them out. And then once they're out, then I can feel better.
Perfect. Before we go to a little break, before you can promote your book and stuff, the question is, how does a story include military and martial arts element? What is a deeper message inside that? So martial arts, military, what was your meaning? What was your I want the readers to get this out of this. Go ahead, share
Okay.
with that with us. Yeah.
Well, because of the structure. And then military, it's more like martial arts mentality, because that martial arts gives you a sense of self, a respect for yourself and others, and inner strength. And that inner core is what's really important when you're in anything. Having a neutral inner core is how you are strong.
Wow.
And so the military training is strategy, it's discipline, it's organization, it's bonding as brothers or sisters, whatever it is, your team, you're bonded together with your team, and you go out and you have a goal and you accomplish that goal. And where they are, if they mess up, that's it. They have to accomplish their goal or forget about it. And that's how it is in the military too. You've got to accomplish your goal. So that's why I wanted to instill that's why I still instilled these methods with these kids, because that's what keeps them together, helps them be smart. It raises the bar, and each of them have a task, and they don't know how to do the task when they start. They have to learn it. And that's
Yeah.
kind of how I am. It's like I'll
Yeah.
think of something and I don't know how to do it, so I have to learn it. And so as I'm going, and I've always been like that, but that's how you grow.
Yeah, very good. Okay, at this time, please tell us where do we go after the show to learn more about you and to buy your books, and plus also to promote your YouTube channel because I was watching that this morning. So talk about that as well because it's a
Oh,
wonderful
thank you.
channel. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Well, I have debbiebishop.com, and I also have Debbie Bishop _ for Instagram. My YouTube channel is Debbie Bishop author _ I think. And also I have a podcast called by Storytellers, where it's a podcast for creatives that aren't, in the mainstream yet, but they're very interesting. So we have that podcast, and I also have a roundtable with all the AIs.
Very good. Oh, you said AI. Very good. What is Debbie's thought on AI for the future in writing future? Because I do a lot of AI myself. I do a lot of stuff with AI, stuff like that. So I'm definitely not against it. What's your thoughts? Because I have authors come on, some say no, 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 and some say yes, I use it. What's Debbie Bishop's thought on AI?
Well, it's a great partner, and it helps
Yeah,
us with tasks and things like that. I don't use it for writing my books or anything like that, because I want the stories. I have enough information. I don't need them to do that. But I'll use it for descriptions and, for posting on Instagram or whatever. But even so, because I'm a creative director and I have experience in Hollywood marketing for 30 years, I
yeah,
end up changing the words a lot. But where I think AI is really a useful partner. And I use Claude and ChatGPT together a lot, because
yeah,
I'm building some apps, because I don't want to spend a lot of time editing posts and things like that. So
yeah.
I built some apps to make it easy with Claude and ChatGPT, and also some other things. And I was surprised that they need each other, that Claude and ChatGPT, both of them, neither one of them could have done what I made together. They had to, well, neither one of them could have done it by themselves. They had to do it together. It's
Wow.
like there are shortcomings in Claude and shortcomings in ChatGPT, and then benefits to each one. And together they work really nicely as a team. So I developed that way to work. But I'll use AI for. I have a lot of character designs by human artists, and I will use AI to make the videos of it and the lifestyle renderings, because I'm making trailers and videos, because I want to make films out of my books. And so I'm making references for when we get our human team together. They'll know kind of what I'm thinking. So there, AI is perfect for people that it's leveled the gateways. It's taken away the middlemen. So
Yeah,
people like you and I, we can promote our books and our works ourselves, and it doesn't
yeah,
cost $30,000 like it used
yeah.
to. We can do it ourselves, and so that's wonderful. And it's also taken some of my jobs as a graphic designer and website, builder. People can do it without me, but that's okay, because I can do something else now.
Right.
You upgrade yourself. It's like if
Yeah,
you have skills, figure out what you like to do, and then upgrade yourself and use AI in order as a partner in that to help you
Yeah.
and enhance the things that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And then you grow from that. And it's opportunities are everywhere and everybody can do anything they want to do now because AI is very helpful. It's not taking away jobs, it's just shifting the jobs.
Beautiful. That's wonderful. Well said. Okay. So staying open to unexpected. That's what you do with AI. Outstanding. Do you have a personal story that reflects how creativity and unexpected opportunities have worked in your life? So you're doing some stuff, you've made it just because of AI. You use it as a tool, as a partner. Outstanding, because I do the same thing. Has anything else come up where you kind of sit there and go, okay, this opportunity will work because of this. I mean, as I listen to you, you're very open-minded. So I don't think you will miss opportunities because you're open-minded. I know I meet a lot of people who are very closed-minded. Oh, I don't want to do this. I'm
Sure.
not going to do anything else. You're different. You're open-minded. You see things. You see opportunities. Is
Hmm.
that right? Debbie
Yeah,
sees opportunity, and you jump on it, right?
always, always opportunities. That's the whole thing. It's like even okay, so even I've been I've been betrayed in the past and
Uh-huh.
stuff, and that is actually an opportunity because
Yeah.
what it is, it's a reset. It's like I'm going down the wrong path. I need to go on this path instead, so I get that problem or that fail, whatever, and it resets you. Because sometimes you're like me, I'm so loyal. I'll stay in something forever because I like the people, but it's not for the best, right? So,
Yeah.
I had these things in the past, and so that I reset and I'm on the right path because one door will close. I've had it so many times when
Yeah.
a door will close and then the door will open right away. There was one thing I was very stubborn about one thing that I wanted to do really badly, and I did it for years. And then finally one day I said, "Okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to stop." And when I did, I got this flash of emojis in my head, all cheering, like a whole room full of emojis, like my ancestors, whatever, going yay! And
Yeah.
and then and immediately I got a phone call and a door opened that I wanted.
Isn't that something?
It's like it just happens. So
Yeah.
the thing is, we are all tied to the universe, and the
Yeah.
universe wants to help us.
Yeah.
So we need to just stay open. And the other thing is you can't just stay open and sit on your rear end.
Yeah.
You gotta be ready because when opportunities come, you want to be ready. You're gonna
Right.
get that call, you're gonna get that meeting, the interview, whatever it is, the client, and be ready.
Metaphysics, sorry, and living on a teaching planet. That's what we're on. That's what you just sat there and shared with,
Mhm.
okay? Why she said that our world is teaching planet. So why is our world a teaching planet? And then, as you just mentioned, just be open for opportunities. Doors closed, make door open if you're open for it. And and a lot of us out there who are negative about the future, they're closed off, they're closed-minded, they sit there and think, yeah, I know a person who still living in 2000 or 1990, 2000. It's like, dude, you gotta get up to 2026. You gotta bring it up a little bit. You know what I mean? He doesn't like to do this because it's new. Well, that's the world we live in. That's how we do it.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm trying to share things with him and say, hey, you gotta open up to this. Well, I didn't do it back in the day, back in this and this. It's like, oh my gosh. Share with us why it's important to see opportunity, jump, even though we may be fighting the new opportunity, the Waymo cars, the cars driven with nobody in it. It took me a while to get used to being in a red light and look over, it's a Waymo over there and nobody in the car. But now in Tempe, Arizona, it's out there all over the place here in Tempe.
Uh-huh. I've
And
seen
I'm so used to it now. You know what I mean? I'm so used to it. What else can you share with us about the metaphysics and getting used to things that's happening in our world, our planet?
Well, I'm not sure I want to get in the Waymo car yet.
Oh, really?
I I don't mind him, but I'm not sure. But already I know that I'm looking at the sky and I'm thinking, okay, well, one day I'm going to look at the sky and it's going to be full of flying cars.
Yeah,
You know that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you look at the sky now and you appreciate what you have, right? But
yeah,
technology changes. And that's another thing why I did my By Storytellers podcast, because when technology changes, jobs change and people find themselves at 40 and 50 with their whole industry is gone and they
yeah,
have to reset. And the new tech, it's gone because of new technology. And so they have to upgrade themselves and learn the new technology. But we went from, I mean, I remember when the internet started,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
and then I was because I've always wanted to help other people. So when I started my business a long time ago, I used to write everything down and save it in folders. And I thought, one day I'm going to publish this and find a way to get it to people. And then Google started, and I thought maybe I'll have them do it. And then Amazon started, maybe I'll have them, give it to them for free so that people can do it. Because it's called Empower Tools. I wanted people to start their businesses and have it easier for them.
Yeah.
And things happen, technology changes and it grows. And so now actually I've put Empower Tools. I just started a school course and a website just yesterday because I
Uh-huh.
can use all the things that I've had out my whole life and give it to people now because we have the internet. So we now have the technology that I needed a long time ago to do that. And things change and they grow, but that's what life is. It's like,
Yeah.
girls used to have to wear dresses. Now we can wear
Yeah.
pants,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just keep going with it. And it can be scary though, because change can be scary. I think the one thing that I don't like in life is change. I don't like
Yeah.
it when people go or they move or they, transition and things change. And, the parties you had when you were a kid with everybody around, the grandma and the grandpa, and everybody, and great conversations and the barbecues and stuff. And then now it's, just
It's all
you.
over. Yeah. Yeah. I cannot believe David Bishop is not jumping into a Waymo. Boy, I, I won't forget that for the rest of the day because how open-minded you are with the way. Because the Waymo, I think, again, I don't even like driving, but I drive. Okay, but when Elon Musk's car comes out, the Cybercab, it will drive me around. Okay, and when I park it, I can sit there and rent that out to somebody else. If the car is sitting in my garage for 8 hours, why not make it work for me?
Oh,
That's
that's
what
a
he's
good
coming.
idea.
What I'm saying? That's what he's coming out with is the
Yeah,
Cybercab with a car that you own. You can go out and give people rides and stuff like that. And it's like that is the coolest thing.
that's a cool. Yeah,
Yeah, that is the
absolutely.
coolest thing.
That's cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
before I get to the final comment, because the time went by so fast, please tell us again, where do we go after the show to learn more about you and buy your book?
DebbieBishop.com, or Instagram is DebbieBishop_, or you can go to empowertools.org.
Beautiful. Final comment. What ways does your work resonate with the current societal struggles? So you're working, you see things going around in your world. We have struggles. We have things going on that it's a mess. I mean, politics and religion stuff I don't get into, but we know that's a mess right now.
Yeah.
Related identity and authenticity. How is your narratives can dialogue around these pressing issues? So we got things going around. I know you're fully aware of what's going on in our country and our world. But what you do, how do you sit there and want us to resonate with what you do and what you put out to the world in
Well,
closing?
I've always written about real life, and
Yeah,
I put it in fantasy and sci-fi so that it was easier to read and watch and listen to. But
yeah.
even in, 30 years ago when I did my comic book, the villain in it was somebody that took over the world with security software. And they had AI back then too. So it's like, sci-fi writers will tell you that, they predict all these things. And so now I've always known that there's a group of people that want to control the world. And so
Yeah,
they set up situations to control everybody. And stereotypes and racism is part of it. And it's something that if we empower the individual and we connect in our community with each other, we can overcome that. We can unite because they're only a small group of people and we're a mass of people. And so the way to thrive is honestly, it's to ignore them
yeah,
because they're going to do what they do. And this is, like I said, this is a teaching planet. There's always going to be evil here because that's one of the challenges that we learn from. So we're here to learn to navigate through it and around it. And by being true to our inner selves, being the best people that we can be, upgrading ourselves with new technology because that's another thing that is here. And it's a good thing. The technology is good. We just need to learn how
yeah,
to use it. But the most important thing are the relationships and supporting your local business. If you see somebody in the checkout line that I saw this lady, it was a long
yeah,
time ago, but this little old lady, she had a can of cherries and a bag of some fresh peas, and she was trying to decide whether she was going to make a cherry pie or she's going to have pea with her dinner.
yeah,
And she couldn't afford both, and so of course, you bought them for her. But I don't want people to have to do that. I want people
yeah,
to thrive. And
yeah,
and if I just noticing and a smile saying hello,
yeah,
it just really can make somebody's day. Ask
yeah.
them how they're doing. it really conversations, all that enlightens the world and it makes the world brighter. And we're in the cycle where we're changing from Pisces to Aquarius. It's like the golden age. It's where we
Yeah.
are now, which is why it's so hard. Because there's so much chaos, because the old system, the hierarchy that has it now doesn't want to let go of it. But
Yeah.
it's going to switch to this golden age where it's more enlightened and it's lighter and it's more spiritual. And I don't mean church, I mean spiritual. And it's going to be better. But right now it's hard.
Yeah.
And so the way we get through it is by being good to each other.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today, enlightening us and teaching us today. You're a wonderful rest of the week. Come on back a little bit anytime you want to. We will put this show on our Roku channel. We do
Thank
Roku,
you.
so yeah, we'll put this on there because I know you're in that movie business anyway, so this will be great. Okay. Thank you
Thank you,
so
Hollis.
much, Trevor. Yes, thank you so much. Thank
All
you
right.
so much. You're
Thank you.
awesome. Here's
Thank
a
you.
Roku commercial. And
Author business owners, turn your book and/or your business into a streaming television brand. You wrote the book, you built the business. Now it's time to be seen on Roku and Amazon Fire Television. The Hollis Chapman Show helps authors and small business owners get featured on a professionally produced TV show, appear on Roku and Amazon Fire Television streaming platforms, build authority and credibility, reach new audiences beyond social media, receive in-house marketing support. This isn't just an interview. This is brand positioning. If you're serious about in 2026, let's put your brand on television. Appy now for a featured television plus podcast spotlight. Book your strategy email today.
Thank you so much, Debbie. We'll talk to you real soon. Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Hollis.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.